Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Growing up in the 90s, these guys were my favorite superheroes. I guess nothing's changed. But what I'm going to be talking about is the video game Trilogy based on the 2003 series. So without any further ado, let's do it, eh?
Let's do it!
The first game, simply entitled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is based on the first season of the show. In a nutshell, no pun intended, it's a pretty simple arcade-style beat-em-up, kinda like a lot of the older games, but in 3D.
Like video games in 3D!
Enemies fall from the sky, appear out of thin air, and you gotta beat all of them up. You can blow stuff up, you can spray them with a fire hydrant. So much fun. I especially like it when the enemies all decide to chase after you at once. Unfortunately, this game can get extremely monotonous. Oh, come on! Why is there an invisible wall blocking me? Simple. There's one more guy you gotta beat up.
Leave him. He's a straggler.
Yeah, but leaving stragglers alone is not really an option in this game. And I guess to add insult to injury, the turtles yell battle cries or one-liners whenever they attack.
Cowabunga! Space Slash! Shell Sweep!
Shell sweep?
Slice and dice! Slice and dice! Batter up! Home run!
Oh, Donnie, you and your baseball.
Anyone for stickball? I have the stick. You be the ball.
Excuse me, stickball. And then there's Raph.
Out of my way, Nimrod!
What did he just say?
Out of my way, Nimrod!
Oh, man, I can never get tired of this.
My way, Nimrod! How about
Man, I am so tired of this!
that?
Do the turtles have to yell the same bunch of one-liners every time they do a simple, strong attack? I mean, that's so redundant. I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
You idiots!
Yeah, sometimes I'd play this game on mute. One other thing that's really annoying is enemies that block. And this is just a pet peeve of mine when it comes to all video games, really. Blocking is annoying. It's one thing when they do it in fighting games, but in beat-em-ups, it's like you're just delaying the inevitable. And speaking of fighting games, this game has a versus mode. Similar to the versus mode in Turtles in Time, here you have a much larger character selection. This versus mode is intense. First of all, look, your opponent's getting all up in your face before the fight even begins. You know, rather than standing from a distance and waiting for the fight to begin. If you want to win, you better start mashing those buttons, and whatever you do, do not lose control.
What point did we lose control here?
Yeah, this is actually more fun with 2 players. And speaking of which, this game only goes up to 2 players. And you'd think for a Ninja Turtles game that came out in 2003, a 4-player mode could have been done easily. And the 2-player mode is kind of weird, because while we both have our own health bars, we both share the same lives.
Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man. That's weird.
So that means if one player runs out of health, you both lose a life. Also, when the second player runs out of health, he has the option to change his turtle. Kind of like in Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. But the first player doesn't have that option. And speaking of options, you also have the option to play as Master Splinter, 1 player only, but he doesn't yell stuff like the other turtles do, he just kind of grunts a lot, which I almost prefer that. But you have a choice between one of the 4 turtles, and there are minor differences between the levels depending on which turtle you choose. For example, with Raphael, you fight Casey Jones, and each turtle can only pick up where he left off. So it's kind of like the turtles and Master Splinter are racing each other to the end. Now don't laugh, but I have yet to beat this game. least I've beaten the sequels. And you know, the same can be said about the older games. I've beaten all the sequels, but I just haven't beaten the original for some reason.
Well, just do what I do. Pretend there's a pizza waiting at the finish line.
All in all, this game is nothing special, but hey, if you're a big Turtles fan and you just can't get enough beat 'em up action, I'd say you can't go wrong with this. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Battle Nexus. Released in 2004, this game is based on the second season of the show. And in many ways, this game is an improvement over the first game. First off, it's 4 players! You also have 8 characters to choose from. You got your 4 Turtles, Master Splinter, Casey Jones, Karai, and Slasher?
Who the heck is that?
Slasher, believe it or not, is an exclusive character to this game. Long story short, he's a bounty hunter who encounters the Turtles twice before ultimately becoming an ally. And he kicks ass. Of course, it helps that his weapon is long and strong.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So you pick 4 characters to play as, and you can switch them out whenever you want to, because certain characters have certain abilities. Like Leonardo and Slasher can slash through barricades, Raph and Casey can push heavy objects, Karai and Mikey can block projectiles, but I almost always go with Mikey because Mikey's awesome. And Donatello and Master Splinter can work the computers, and I love Master Splinter, but I gotta go with Donnie and that laser gun. So while it is fun to experiment with other characters, I typically go with the Turtles.
Doesn't everybody?
Also, this game is not as monotonous as the first one. First off, good news, Tony. You don't feel like fighting all the stragglers? Then don't.
Good. Good.
Although, some levels require you to do that. But some levels don't even involve combat at all, like this one where the goal is to throw all the Utroms into the transmat. Or this one, where you're running from a semi. Oh!
Nobody could have survived that.
Or how about these levels where you're just cruising along on a hoverboard collecting coins? Yeah, I love these levels. And that music. Adds a little variety. And speaking of which, while this is primarily a beat 'em up, this game also qualifies as a platformer. Oh, that was ridiculous! How did I miss that? Oh, come on!
Can you believe this guy?
Also, what is up with the camera? Like, sometimes it just doesn't zoom out far enough. Another thing that's kind of weird is all of the characters are sharing the same life meter. So we went from sharing the same lives to sharing the same health. Sounds like a step in the wrong direction, but hey, at least this way, nobody fights over the pizza. Now, I can't talk about this game without bringing up the arcade bonus feature. That's right, you can actually play the arcade game on this. Yes! Aw yeah, look at that. Looks exactly like the arcade. It's awesome. What's not so awesome though is they altered the music, and it's the same music for every level. But other than that, it's arcade perfect. However, it really isn't all that challenging. What do I mean by that? Just watch.
Oh man, I'm getting my shell kicked. I'm almost dead, dude. Oh, what's this button do?
Cowabunga!
Whoa, sweet! 2 extra lives! How did I do that?
Cowabunga! Cowabunga! Cowabunga!
This is so easy!
Yeah, a little too easy.
And it goes all the way up to 999.
Holy guacamole!
Now, in my experience of playing this with other people, like guys my age, They want to play the arcade game. However, younger kids have been the opposite. They want to play, Battle Nexus.
Kids.
All in all, while this game certainly has its flaws, I definitely consider it to be an improvement over the original. At last, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Mutant Nightmare. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles! TMNT 3 Mutant Nightmare was released in 2005 and is based on the third season of the show. And by many, it's considered to be the best of the trilogy. And for good reasons. It does a lot of things right. First of all, it's 4 players, like every turtle game ought to be.
But no!
But this time you can only play as the 4 turtles. That's fine, really, unless you'd rather play as someone else.
What for?
Also, this game finally does the multiplayer mode right. Look, everyone has their own health bars. But uh-oh, there's 4 of us and only 1 replenishment. Who should get it?
It doesn't matter!
That's right, it doesn't matter. 1 player gets it, everyone's health goes up. Oh, now isn't that nice? We went from sharing the same lives to sharing the same health to just sharing the replenishment. Also, no matter how many people play, you'll always have 4 turtles on screen. So that means if you're playing by yourself, you control 1 turtle while the CPU controls the other 3. And they're about as helpful as Peppy, Slippy, and Falco from Star Fox. Which is not bad, actually. And the big special move we do is pretty cool. It can be kind of tricky to pull off, but when we do, boom! Mutant Nightmare also has plenty of variety going for it, like this glider level, or these shoot 'em up levels. Well, technically you're throwing up, or these hoverboard levels. Yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as... There's also no platforming going on in this game, and they fixed the problem with the camera by giving you the ability to control it. That being said, there's really not much for me to complain about here. I mean, sure, some levels make you feel like a rat in a maze.
Oh, sorry, Master Splinter.
Then there are those levels where you gotta protect April and Splinter, and they walk about as slow as dirt.
Come on, guys!
And then there's Shredder. Man, is he hard.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Walked right into that one. But anyway, he is very difficult. Unless you can upgrade your turtles into Ultimate Turtles. And then, oh my gosh, like, it is so much easier. Like, I laughed when we beat him. But let's move on to the arcade bonus feature, featuring Turtles in Time.
Rock, dudes!
Oh yeah, 4-player Turtles in Time. That's what I'm talking about. Once again, though, they altered the music. But at least it's not the same music for each level. And the soundtrack for this is actually not bad. And once again, extra lives come with just the push of a button. So, all I gotta do to get 1 extra life is... this?
Let's get down!
Precisely.
Let's get down! Let's get down!
I don't think that'll be a problem, Leo.
This time it only goes up to 99 instead of 999. And once again, in my experience of playing this with other people, my fellow millennials would rather play Turtles in Time. But the folks from Generation Z would rather play Mutant Nightmare. However, I gotta go with my fellow millennials on this one.
You just can't beat the old classics.
So while I wouldn't call Mutant Nightmare outstanding, I would call it the best of the trilogy, with Battle Nexus being a close second. And as for the series from which these games are based,
It's a lot like Star Trek: The Next Generation. In many ways, it's superior, but will never be as recognized as the original.
But comparing these games to these games is like comparing a sprint to a marathon.
Huh?
But as a big Turtles fan, I enjoy all of these games. But Turtles in Time is still my favorite TMNT game by far.
Excellent!
Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun making this. And last but not least...
Cowabunga!